Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of English language classroom. This is Language for Purposes, Functional English. Here we learn English for day-to-day and academic purposes. My name is Astha. We have Professor Meghanathan from the Department of Education in Languages, NCERT. Hello sir, how are you?
I'm fine. Hello Astha and hello learners. How are you?
I'm good sir. How are you learners? So sir, how have you been?
I'm fine, doing well. Lot of things happening. Probably what are we doing today?
Sir, before telling that, I would like to ask you, if I tell you something, would you agree with me?
It depends on what you say and what you ask for to agree with or disagree with. Suppose if you ask me, sir, are you a fool? I wouldn't be definitely agreeing with, even though it may be true. Yeah. So what to do? Yeah.
Very well put, sir. So, as you've mentioned, we agree and disagree with people on anything.
Fine.
So, today we'll be learning how to disagree with people politely.
Okay. So, why do we need to disagree? Okay, let me put it as I say. Why do we need to disagree? First of all. The second one, can we agree with everything said and everything happening?
So, sir, the answer to your question is in the second question itself. We cannot agree with everything someone says, so we have to disagree.
Okay. So, today's episode?
So, today's episode is about learning to disagreeing with people. Okay. And we have Akash, Megha and Swati in a conversation where they are disagreeing with people.
Okay, disagreeing with one another
yes,
on an idea.
Yes.
What is that idea?
So, sir, during COVID-19, people were trying different cures and different medicines to, cure themselves, different home-made remedies. So, there were different point of views.
Right. In fact, everybody became kind of physician, doctor.
Absolutely.
Prescribing.
Yes.
So, this, what's that? Akash,
Megha
and Swati, yes. They are conversing on it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Learners, let's watch the conversation first. How Megha, Swati and Akash discuss, converse and agree and disagree on some of the practices which happened during the COVID pandemic. Then of course later we got vaccine which almost brought some sort of solution to the pandemic. Learners, let's watch it.
Many different. Repeat. Many different.
Swati, Megha, I was thinking about the various treatments attempted during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now it appears to be very funny. Some suggested eat this tablet, that herb, so on.
That is a common belief and practice, but scientifically proven medicines only works.
It's difficult to agree with you, but everything has some truth. Moreover, people did not have any way out to escape the pandemic.
The majority of experts agree with me that there needs to be a scientifically proven medicine. That's why we developed vaccine.
You could say that, but recall the situation at that time.
Although it's very difficult to argue with that, but I feel that was not correct. It was out of panic we did so.
The problem with the argument is, it can't be accepted as it is taking lives of people.
But aren't you forgetting that the pain and trouble we underwent?
I can see how you might think that way. But any medicine has to be tested and proven. Then only it can be administered. That's what we have done now.
But Swati, aren't you assuming that people are well informed and wait for a vaccine to come out now?
I hold the opposing view that people need to be sensible and understand the situation and problem.
There is a lot of truth in that. But see, people are people. We cannot expect them to think in one way.
You may think that way, but you need to understand that was an extraordinary situation, Akash.
This I agree.
It was an extraordinary situation.
Learners, this is how the conversation started. Akash started it, Megha and Swati joined, and Asta, did you notice each one disagreed with the other, but at the same time there was some sort of politeness, and also everybody appeared to be correct.
Yes, sir. This is very interesting actually. So, after their initial conversation, Akash brings in his point of view and he supports it with evidence.
Yes.
He mentions that, how most of the a majority of the experts agree with his point of view about the vaccine.
Yeah, fine. Now, that's what Akash is trying to prove his disagreement, his dissent in a way with the evidence.
Yes, sir.
So, learners, we agree or disagree. So, let's be sensible, rational, and with evidence.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, where does the conversation move forward to?
Yes, sir. So, sir, there's this kind of agreement and disagreement happens between Akash and Megha, and then Swati comes in and she says that the problem with the argument is that it cannot be accepted.
Okay. She is disagreeing.
Yes, sir.
But how does she say it?
That the problem with the entire argument is that. So, she kind of, disagrees with both Megha and Akash.
And even though they had different kind of opinion,
Yes.
two different opinions.
Yes, sir.
Learners understand language is actually use of words and phrases, and more than that is the meaning. What I say, what I mean to say. Come on. Let us show the learners that part of the conversation.
The majority of experts agree with me that there needs to be a scientifically proven medicine. That's why we developed vaccine.
You could say that, but recall the situation at that time.
Although it's very difficult to argue with that, but I feel that was not correct. It was out of panic we did so.
The problem with the argument is it can't be accepted as it is taking lives of people. The problem with the argument is it can't be accepted as it is taking lives of people.
But aren't you forgetting that the pain and trouble we underwent?
I can see how you might think that way, but any medicine has to be tested and proven, then only it can be administered. That's what we have done now.
Yes, that was the bit. Learners, did you notice the use of but in this conversation?
And how did they use the word but to disagree?
Yes,
Is it?
sir.
So, Megha for the first time uses but politely to disagree with Akash and as well as Swati. And learners, you see, picking up the words to agree or disagree matters. Language is actually, that's what we have titled as language is for purpose. We are using it for meaning. So, the whole conversation from the beginning to end, but everybody uses to disagree with.
Yes.
But they don't explicitly say, I disagree with you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, but so this is, we call it pragmatics of language. Then you can be very well, you can disagree with people without being impolite.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Where does the conversation now move?
Yes, sir. I would like to highlight that point again. The conversation is moving very politely. Each of the three people, Swati, Megha and Akash, they disagree with each other, but first they validate each other's point of view.
Fine.
And then use the word but to disagree.
Okay, and learners, let me pick up the word she used, validate. Why do people have to validate, then agree or disagree?
Sir,
Otherwise, it will become a kind of blind disagreement. No? You should have evidence to agree or disagree. So, that's what learners, that's what, let me also say it again. It's meaning making, language is meaning making.
Yes, sir.
So, and then where does he move?
Yes, so Swati uses the words, I can see how, Megha is coming to this point of view. So, she kind of validates her by using the phrase, I can see why you might think that way.
Okay. Let's look at what Swati says. I can see
why you might think that way.
Why you might think that way. That means look at the use of the word might.
Yes.
So then I said that why you have said it, she must have said, but why you might think. Might is a possibility. So the might also gives a kind of scope for not agreeing or agreeing with. So learners, let's also notice that we use the politer term might, which gives you, oh yeah, I agree, it may be true. So we say no, it may rain or it might rain.
Yes, sir.
Might rain is less possibility, may is more possibility. We are not clear about it. So the same way, I agree, I feel, why you might think so. It's not that agreeing with you, with her idea, it is that why you disagree with this.
Yes, sir.
So it's kind of validating. That's what you're saying. Then what else? Megha also says something.
Yes, sir. Megha agrees. Megha kind of understands where Swati is coming from, but somehow she kind of disagrees with her. And then Swati mentions that she is opposed to the idea.
How does she say that?
She says, I have an opposite view.
And then I hold an opposing view.
Yes, sir.
Learners, you say that instead of I disagree with you, very blunt manner, you say I hold an opposing view. It's difficult to agree with you. Come on, let's watch that clip.
Swati, aren't you assuming that people are well informed and wait for a vaccine to come out now?
I hold the opposing view that people need to be sensible and understand the situation and problem.
There is a lot of truth in that. But see, people are people. We cannot expect them to think in one way.
You may think that way, but you need to understand that was an extraordinary situation, Akash.
This I agree.
It was an extraordinary situation.
That was very well understood. Learners, this is how people disagree. Even though we have got a lot of agreement in this, agreement with disagreement. So now, how did they close the conversation?
Yes, sir. As Swati puts it very perfectly, that the situation was very extraordinary and everyone had different points of views.
So, learners, on an issue, any issue, there may be many opinions, many agreements and disagreements, but how you present it in your conversation matters. Then how they close it, all three agree on one point, that is, it was an extraordinary situation where we didn't have many options to solve it. Of course, now almost 2 years we have come out of that, probably even though we lost many lives, but we are fine now. The world was able to overcome one of the worst calamities in our known history. Okay, learners, our purpose is for you to learn how you agree and disagree, and this episode concentrated on disagreement, disagreeing with a person and his or her opinions.
So learners, that was the conversation Megha, Swati and Akash had. We will be back again with another episode on functional English. Take care. Bye.